should be live now. Just gonna wait until the window opens and turn it down. Just bear with us 1 second. There we go, muted there. All right. I'm back on there. Oops. All right. Back onto Zoom. So welcome everybody who's joining us either live or on the replay. Welcome to Heartful Living Weaves with Denise, and today again for the second time in a very short space of time is Kandice Ko, because we felt like we weren't complete last time, so we're going to go live again soon, I reckon. There always seems to be more. So I'm Denise, your host, and the Heartful Living Weaves are a new little venture for me. They're kind of a branch of the love tree. Love Speaks Love is another branch. Okay. And this feels like it just has a slightly different feel to it. This might change, but at the minute my focus is connecting to the earth, connecting to our hearts. Yeah, connecting to our hearts first. And then from that, connecting to the earth, to the trees, the plants, the creatures. Yeah. So I'm just going to double check on my phone that we are live here. Have you shared it, Candice?
I have not. I will take a moment to do that.
Wonderful. Okay, so, oh, thank you. Thank you, Lou. Yeah, if anyone wishes to share it along, if you're finding it helpful or think you'll find it helpful, that would be amazing. And while Kandice is just doing that, I invite us to connect with our hearts. You might want to place one or both hands on your heart, and let's just say to our hearts, I love you. I love you. I love you. And if you're in a position to do so, not if you're driving, of course, but if you're in a position to do so, if you want to close your eyes and just be in your own space for a minute or two while we connect all of our hearts together. They already are all connected together, but when we do this consciously and make ourselves aware of it, it just seems to make that connection that little bit stronger. And we will extend our heart awareness out to the heart of Gaia, consciously bringing Gaia's energy into this conversation. And we set the intention before we started that we would, Kandice put this in a much more beautiful way, which I'll let her share afterwards, but letting Gaia speak through us, really, letting whatever Gaia wishes to be shared. So as we connect to Gaia's heart, feeling the love of our Earth Mother moving into our bodies, into every cell, expanding our hearts so we're open to receive as much as we can, and maybe setting the intention that we open our hearts a little bit more each time we breathe to whatever point is comfortable for us. And extending the heart awareness out to the heart of the sun, the heart of Source Creator. And over to you, Kandice, if there is anything that you would like to add.
Just bringing our awareness to the many parts that we are composed of, just as nature is, honoring our microbiome and the trillions upon trillions of cells that we are comprised of, the trillions of frequencies, of quanta, and bringing all of that we are together in this beautiful, powerful moment that is the composition of all that has been, finding itself, composting in this here and now. And may we honor the great wisdom that is all that is. And as the faculties that we are, bring all that we are together in this one moment as one working body, one working field, and bringing the fields upon fields upon fields that we each are together in this beautiful heart coherence in our natural nature, working together as nature's harmony in absolute love and reverence from the here and now, from the smallest central point of ourselves, sending that acknowledgement in all directions, infinitely inward and infinitely outward, and letting that ripple, that intention, be the syncopation, be the unifying field of loving awareness. And lastly, I feel to just acknowledge our here-ness and just saying within yourself or aloud in the gathering of all that we are together in this great gathering, in this great sphere, I am here, I am here, I am here, we are here, we are here, we are here. And then perhaps just taking 3 beautiful breaths, and again, feeling those breaths going infinitely inward and infinitely outward in one great rippling reminder to all that we are to come together in this great field of coherence.
Beautiful, thank you. Here in coherence.
I love that.
That was so lovely. And just having my hands here on my heart, in my heart space, it was just like the more you spoke, the more ordered it came and the more still. And I could just feel the stillness outside. I felt like it was almost like a Snow White scene, and that all the animals were just outside going, huh? And the birds, everything was just pausing, feeling the ripples and just absorbing the ripples. And I feel I want to acknowledge the mycelium network, the natural internet of the earth, and our fascia and how that connects. And the spider's webs, because I always feel that the spider's webbing carries light and carries energy above the surface as well. I feel the connection with that and into the air. So I don't think I've ever asked anyone this as yet, but what does heartful living mean to you? And I guess I'm sure other people are using the term heartful living, but it's like I went into mindfulness first, like mindful living, and just becoming more conscious of myself, my environment, the connection with the two. And then mindful didn't quite feel right to use as a word. It felt like heartful was more where I wanted to be. So what does that mean to you?
I love that question, and I love your experience and your realizations that you've had yourself with that. And even as I say realizations, I was like simultaneously hearing realignments, right? Realizations, realignments. And I feel I've taken the same pathway and the same journey as yourself. Especially, we live in such a mental world, and we're guided at such a young age to really identify with who we are and to really conceptualize life and to speak from a place of I think and really hone the thinking apparatus. So as we are being really beautifully drawn into the natural fields and I'm hearing the natural order of things, and we're being reordered and reorganized by the natural principles, it's like we're sinking deeper into something, and we're sinking deeper into ourselves, we're sinking deeper into our cells, we're sinking deeper into that which is available here. And so heartful living is the discovery of living deeper in the body. It's the discovery of what everybody calls embodiment. It's a different level of receptivity that is absolutely more compassionate. And in the deepest feelings, and I know that there's a difference between feelings and emotions, and I would say it's in the deepest feelings in the sense that the feelings are a way of thinking. It's like you're thinking through the heart, through feeling. And then I'm sure many of the beautiful souls that are participating, and I can see your comments because I have it on my computer. So if anybody wants to add anything, I can pull that in. Many of us know about the powerful heart field and how the heart field is much more powerful in its magnetism than the brain is. And so not only is it a deeper feeling, sensing way of living, but the field is massive. And so when you drop in, and I have 3 boys and they love to skateboard, and dropping in, whenever I say that, I can't help but see my phenomenal son, my 13-year-old, on his skateboard, dropping in to this steep bowl. They just drop into these bowls, and I don't know how they do it. I watch them and I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's us in our minds with our board, dropping into the heart, boom, and then we're like, and then we are skating, we're surfing with life in the smooth fields of feeling. And I'm thinking about him feeling his board, right? With through his feet, core locked in. It's just like that. You're navigating by the core of your being in your greater senses. And you still have access to the mind field when you need it. Absolutely. But it's guided and governed from this deeper field and this deeper place. And so coming from that place is the discovery. So I'm still in discovery of heartful living, and it means being present for life, for living life, and it means present in my feeling. I'm not thinking, wow, that's incredible. I am feeling, wow, that is incredible. And as I feel, wow, that's incredible through my heart, that syncopates all that I am in the one resounding awe that is holding me together and bringing me together and bringing me deeper and deeper into the experience that is Earth, that is humanity, that is my natural nature.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What an amazing response to that question. Thank you. And I totally agree with you. And it's not about discounting and, you know, pushing away the mind either. It's about the coherence between, the coherence between the two. And I feel for myself, I was quite logical, analytical for quite a long time, especially when I was nursing, very left brain, really, in that role. And I like the mind. It's, you know, it's always trying to help us. It's always, you know, looking out for things and trying to protect us and come up with solutions. But my decision making has changed. And it's, to me, it's about leading, as you say, it's leading from the heart, but in conjunction with everything else. Beautiful. And being present for life. And you much more feel that interconnectedness as well, that weaving of interconnectedness with everything. And as we mentioned on the last weave that we did, we're both keen gardeners. And being out in nature, like when you're in your heart space, it just adds so much more to the experience. I know many people are finding this, that birds will come in a lot closer. It's like we're not separate from everything, but knowing that you're not separate from everything almost feels like you're merged in a little bit more, so that the animals, the birds, the creatures, they can sense that, they can feel that, and they accept us more as being part of nature and not separate. So they'll sing to us more, they'll connect with us more, and they'll come closer because they don't need to fear as much, so they're happier to come in closer. But I just love my interactions with nature. Like, really nothing makes me happier than being in nature, seeing a dragonfly or a butterfly or whatever, and I don't lose that childlike innocence. I'm still like, oh, and I still talk to everything when I go out in nature. I forget that most people don't do that. I forget, and I laugh with nature as well. Like, you know, it shows us, it can just be funny, the interactions that you have as well. And I forget that might not be, you know, socially acceptable. And because when I walk around in nature, mostly I'm on my own, I tend not to see people. So I kind of forget the protocols and especially when we're in lockdown as well, and you spend so much time on your own. become a little bit feral in that, and forget what the social norms are when you're actually in public?
I feel like, and being in my heartfulness, living from my heart, is rewiring me and rewording me. So rewording the experience, recoding the experience. So just as you spoke of your direct experience and witnessing how you're clicking in, as when you're in your heart field, you're clicking in deeper, right? You're deeper in your being, you're deeper in Gaia's being. So your being, whenever I say being, I hear and feel a ring. It's like the bell of the ball. You are the bell of the ball. You are the bell of the sphere, right? That you are presiding within. And when you are in your being, it rings. You're carrying that resonance of that being that is dinging. And it is that resonance that is inviting. It is like the Liberty Bell. It is, it's not an alarm bell. It's a, I am here, I am here, I am here. Come hither. Come hither. I feel we are creating new social norms, and we are creating a new culture. That is the way. That is a byproduct of our being. And yes, the heartful being and the mindful being, when they come together, there is a lot of curiosity, and there can be a lot lost in translation, for sure. And I'm seeing Pocahontas, and I haven't seen that movie in so long, but it's like the curiosity of her and this gentleman that's come from far away, and she's in her being, and he's kind of like in this mental sphere, but they still have a love and a curiosity for one another. So it's almost like the story of the mind and the heart trying to come together because there is a love. And when you were just sharing, you're like, I like the mind. The mind is fun. The mind's my friend. The mind is always trying to help me. I can appreciate that. And you're coming from that loving heart field that has embraced the mind, that has opened its arms and has given it a big hug. And it's like, I accept you. I accept you just the way that you are. And I appreciate you. I appreciate all that you've done for me. And now I appreciate all that we're going to co-create together. And that is the syncopation. That is the, I'm feeling this heartbeat drum that is always beating in the center of our chest, reminding us the rhythm of life, and to come into the rhythm of life, and that we are a walking ceremony. We are a walking sacred circle, and it's like, come all, and welcome here, and welcome all the parts that I am into the sphere that I am, that connects to the sphere that you are, that connects to the sphere that we are all within. And it's just the welcome wagon. And it sets the mind into right harmony. And actually, I feel the mind is relieved. Like, thank goodness thank goodness for this return. So I don't have to worry about your being. Like, I just want to do the computing. I'm the computer, and I have had to be the being. I don't be, I compute. I compute for you. So thank you for sinking in, because that was a lot of pressure, and I'm not designed for that, but I am, right? I am. That's why I am here. I am here. I am here being.
Sinking in, as in SYNC, sinking in. I chuckled when you said about the bell, because my doorbell rang when you were sharing at the beginning. I don't know if that came over or if Zoom cancelled that out, but yeah. Yeah, I love what you said there. And I so resonate with that. And it's almost like, as you said that, about taking the pressure off, my brain just went, oh, yes, you know, and that acknowledgement of that. And I don't think we acknowledge, or I certainly didn't in the past acknowledge our brains enough for what it's trying to do. But I feel much more in that space now of gratitude. And that is another feature of the heart as well, isn't it? That we've not mentioned the gratitude, the joy, and the compassion. And it is, you know, when you encounter situations, especially trigger situations, if we can come back to our hearts instead of, you know, I think sometimes we slip into solar plexus, we slip into the control and the power games and the head stuff a little bit more. And if we can be more in our hearts, we're more in that place of compassion. And that's not to say that we don't have boundaries in that. It's not, being in the space of compassion isn't about letting yourself be trodden on all the time, but it's about just being more gentle with ourselves and being more gentle with other people, and a little more responsive and a little less reactive.
Yeah, so coming from the heart, it does feel like a slower pace in a sense. It's because it's taking all into account. It truly is. It's not computing all into account. It's taking all into account, and it's gathering its information from this deep feeling field. And so I'm seeing water moving through all these layers of sediment. And that is similar to this feeling assimilation, as it must feel all. It must take the time required to deeply feel and get that. I'm hearing peripheral, but that it's like it's like the side view, the deep view from all angles I am extracting from. And then I'm also perceiving our gut and how that is, that the gut is part of this, what I was just speaking about. That's what I was tapping into, the sediment. So, and the liquids moving through this incredible extractor of nutrients and information. Wow. So it's like the heart resides in the center between these incredible processors, and they process very uniquely, very specifically to aid in the, I'll just speak this through, to aid in the heart coherence, to assist in the gathering, assist. I mean, it's almost like I'm seeing two arms stretched out from the heart. One is in the mind, and one hand is in the tummy. And yeah, it reminds me of a tree. It reminds me of the roots, and it reminds me of the canopy and the trunk of the heart, reaching, feeling, digesting, decomposing, assimilating, extracting. Again, not meant to be led from, but meant to be fed from. Like they're feeding the heart, the heart's information. Yeah, again, just assisting.
And all three are like processing units as well, aren't they? Like we've got the most neurons in our brain, but we have, I think it's 40,000 sensory neurites in our heart. So our heart acts as a brain as well, and in our gut. And I don't know as much about the brain in the gut and what that means. And it is a processor on another level, as you say, like it's processing what we digest. But there is something to that about the heart being central to them, and it's kind of like, yeah, I'm seeing a figure of 8 in that, and the heart being the center.
And we're, as humanity, we're just beginning to understand the complexity of the gut-brain axis. This is something that is surfacing, and it will tie us back into gardening. So there are 300 to 500 bacteria in our gut that are healthy, benevolent organisms, as well as other friendly microorganisms that are in there. And gardeners actually tend to have a more biodiverse colony of bacteria that live in their gut, because as we are working within the soil, we're breathing it in. That not only impacts us, so anyone that lives in our home now has the benefit of our ultra diverse microbiome, because whoever we live in the home with shares our microbiome. So if a member in the household takes antibiotics, it does the same thing. It doesn't just wipe out the microbiome of the antibiotic taker. It actually goes and wipes out the group microbiome. And so we're all in it together, is what I'm hearing. We are literally all in this together. I'm hearing that song. This land is your land. This land is my land. And now I'm hearing another song combining with that song. Your love is my love, and my love is your love. And there is a great reciprocity that is a law here on this planet. It is the law of reciprocation and reciprocity. And if it is not known, and it is not honored, and it is not lived from and by it, the byproduct of that is a ripple impact that we don't necessarily want. So there's many beings here that are taking proper order within themselves and doing these right actions, and it's creating these like micro colonies, like concentrated good stuff, almost like a super poop. And so it's like trying to refertilize and refurbish for everyone else, but we need all hands on deck with this. Holy communion, and the holiness is just the knowing that we're all whole, one thing, which brings me to a word that I wanted to share that I don't know how to pronounce, and it's called holobiont. Holobiont, and that is an assemblage of a host and the many other species living in and around it, which together form a discrete ecological unit. So it's describing a thing that is so intimately interwoven with other things that those other things, therefore, it's all classified as one living apparatus of many separate parts that have come together. And so this new sort of scientific endeavor or instrument or perception is witnessing the human being as a holobiont. because of all of the parts that we're comprised as that aren't necessarily, yeah, they're separate working parts that actually have, much like a tree, we're much like a tree, we're much like a plant, we're much like nature because we are nature, as we realize. And so that holobiont that we are has layers upon layers, because then we click into our environment, and when we're truly in our all living from our heart place and the hearth of our being, as I say that, I'm sort of witnessing a dream, another layer of the human dream unfolding from the heart, and it has fairies and it has elementals. And inside our interlocking fields, when we truly access this from this and this knowing, yes, it creates a most incredible world of magical fractality as we're all linking up. And oh gosh, it's so beautiful when that awareness blossoms within the human being, and rows upon rows upon rows of interlocking heartful living beings. And what grows in between our fields, our holobionts, is many different incredible creatures, elemental creatures. Like, there's just so many things that we don't believe in anymore, or we think that they're extinct, or they're like these memories of the past. They're all creations and byproducts of our own magicality accessed through ourselves, truly living from that. And yeah, it just access to an entirely new realm and dream world.
Yeah, so many places that I could go off in there, but I'm feeling the nudge, because I know you wanted to share about Gene Key 19 last time, and I'm feeling that is a good segue into sharing what you would like to about Gene Key 19.
So,
predominant one of my gene keys.
Yes, I don't recall how we got to this 19, and nor does it matter. Oh, I think it was maybe it was the first show we did, right? And then, maybe it just popped right out. It probably just one of those
things.
It's
just very relevant to the whole conversation about connecting with nature and us being portals and connecting with those hidden realms, or the realms that have been hidden, that are all around us, that we just haven't seen.
Okay, so would you mind if I just started to read and get some stuff from here? Okay, so the 19th gene key is called the future human being, which is so exciting. I feel like we're coming full circle in a way, like the future human being is the original human being. And it'll mean so much more as we come from this journey of forgetting into the journey of remembrance. And the programming partner for this gene key is gene key 33. And the reason why I just mentioned that now is because this is the wheel, okay? And let's just put ourselves in the center of the wheel. And I'm gonna just put my perspective in this line right here, okay? And a line from the center up. And right there, that's the 19th gene key, okay? And the energy of that sequence goes infinitely inward and infinitely outward. And all nows, it is a spectrum of color. It is a spectrum of light. It is an archetypal energy. that has been recognized, and it's connected to the I Ching, which is an ancient wisdom beyond the mind. Okay. Its programming partner is on the other side in the direct line. That's why I brought that up, right? So it's the programming partner. It is the completion of the full peripheral. It is the horizon. It's the event horizon of that energy, fully streamlined and known through the center point of your being. Cannot just have this perspective with the whole, you want the whole view, right? So this part, the 33rd gene key, the shadow of forgetting, right? The shadow of forgetting. That's epic. It's like we've forgotten the magicality, which is the 19. So as we move from forgetting to remembering to, I believe it's the final revelation. Yes, it's the final revelation. So we're moving from forgetting up to mindfulness, right? That's the journey we took, Denise. We were forgetting, and then we went up into the mind to try and remember. And the mind was like, that's not my job though, but I'll try and do my best. And I'll gather everything that you've ever experienced and I'll show it to you constantly to remind you of who you are, even though I don't quite know myself, but we'll do our best. And then we're dropping into the revelation. And the revelation is going to turn out revelation after revelation after revelation, because the being, ding, 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 over and over again. I will reveal, I am here, I am here. Just feel and I will show you. It is here, it is here, it is there, it is everywhere. Let's just feel, let's just be, and we'll extract from all that is, because you are that all that is. So you may not know all that is, you can be with all that is. And in that being is the knowing, as they connect as one. But you must be to know. And you must let go to be. So you can't keep the knowing. It will just reveal as you go. And that's the way of the future. That's the future way, as we all become a residing being who knows, and we proclaim together and we resound together. I hear, I feel, and then I'm seeing you. I hear, I feel. We hear, we feel, and then we pass that on. And then that whole cellular reception ripples through the body of Gaia as I know, I remember, and then it clicks in. I am here, I feel, I hear. We hear each other, I hear you, I see you. And so that is the cellular reception that will be the new way. And so the physiology of the gene key 19 is body hair. And I freaking love that. It's like when you get that knowing, that deep feeling, and your hair stands up. And then it's also the little hairs on the inside of the body. There's little hairs everywhere. So yes, in the ears, it's not just, so we're like, okay, thank you for drawing attention to that. And these little hairs are also connected to the light filaments of the DNA. The hairs go infinitely inward and infinitely outward in fractality. And so that's the mycelium. The hair, the little hairs are everywhere. The hairs, right? The rabbits, the sacred wisdom of the druids, of the wee man. I'm just feeling the Trinity. Okay, come back. and yeah, I hear. It's that it's that hearing, that herring, that heralding that goes, that we feel. That's how we feel so deeply. That's the 19th key. That's the key, that hearing, that feels, because it's in the filaments, because the hairs are moving. Each hair is a vibrating oscillation. That opens the portals of perception. And that is the way that we walk with this key. And so we are living through a time of unprecedented global mutation. This mutation is on many different levels, from the most physical to the most spiritual. To truly capture the essence of what is occurring to humanity, one needs to look not so much at the spiritual dimension, but at the opposite end of the spectrum, the biogenetic. A scientist may say that man's spiritual evolution comes as a result of his biological evolution. The mystic tends to see the opposite way around, and I'm feeling us meeting in the middle here. What is fascinating about the scientific view is that it's focused on the lower frequency realms, the realm of matter. The 19th shadow represents an aspect of our genome that is currently undergoing this intense mutation. A mutation is a spontaneous and sudden quantum leap from one state to another. Wonder if Alasa is still here with us. Yes, Alasa. My quantum leaper. Shoo! The 19th shadow of codependence. So in the 19th gene key, there's 3 spectrums of realization. The lower spectrum is like the seed that has not flowered yet. And so that seed, that husked aspect, is codependence. And that codependence doesn't necessarily feel so good to the being. In its infancy, it feels like it needs to gain independence. It feels like it's at the mercy of an external force, which can cause, well, this is like the journey of the toddler, right? It causes its enacting its confusion before it finds its place. But that enacting of that confusion causes actually the agitation for the seed to break out. So it's literally just causing the activity to crack the egg. It's a natural part of life that, when stunted, can can lead to a lot of miscreations. I don't necessarily want to read too much of the shadow key. I highlighted some things.
So back to what you were saying as well about the senses, it does almost feel like there's a real merging of the senses coming online. So you can hear with your eyes, you can like see with your hands. It's all merging and becoming one big sensory organ that is us.
Yeah, which is us. And we can link in together as like 2 hearts can create that co-field, that co-resonance. That's why it is said, when 2 or more gather, when 2 heart fields, because our fields are like 8. Alasa, you probably know this. I tried to, she's in the comments there. I tried to write down some things about it, but I think it's like 8 feet outward. I want to say 8 meters, but that's probably not accurate for this time period. But it will be. It absolutely will be. So what you're speaking about is the gift of the 19th gene key here, the gift of sensitivity, the whisperers. This is a rare phenomenon, there is a rare phenomenon in the human being known as synesthesia. Synesthesia is the genetic ability to link different senses internally, just as you just described. And many artists and healers have these kinds of gifts and can sense the hidden energy fields through their fingers or their skin or hair. Sensing these fields in nature allows you to see a completely different world from most people. A world of energy fluctuations, intense colors, moods, and internal pressure patterns. In the deepest sense, the higher frequencies of the 19th gene key have access to the realms of magic. At a higher frequency, food is really life energy. So in the shadow frequency of this key, and again, shadow, it could be seed. They could have easily said the seed instead of the shadow, but I think the shadow does offer good context to some of the vibrations that we feel when we are in seed form. So the lower seed form aspect of this key is really connected to food, really deeply connected to food, which can also bring in food artistry and food awareness and all of that thing. But I love how it says at the higher frequency, food is energy, which the ancients called prana or chi. When your heart and being opens to sense the abundance of this energy throughout nature, you become for the first time emotionally independent. Only the activation of love inside your own DNA gives you this wider sense of being. Furthermore, because this 19th gene key is one of the first places in the human genome where the great change is having an immediate impact. The movement from codependence to independence is something we're increasingly seeing throughout human culture. I think we become independent for a period of time, momentarily. It's like we need to gain that, again, that agitation to break through. And like that's it's almost like a moment of independence. It's like a moment of I am, but then immediately it converts to we am. I am to we am. Immediately.
And
I'm interdependent, right? Like it's all me. Oh wait, it is, but it isn't, but it is, but it isn't. Like it is, it's echoing, it's expanding, the field upon field. Oh.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, we can just go on and on here, but we don't necessarily have to. What is the most fun in this now?
And you were saying as well, because I also have the 61st gene key. What was it you said in the message? Was it the ring of?
It's the ring of Gaia.
Yeah. So what's the link? You said about 33 being linked to 19. Can you explain more about the link with 61?
Okay. So if we're going to follow the wisdom and the modality is the gene keys, it's based on codons, which goes deep into the programming. It's like the literal computer code of biology. So we're going into the coding world, we're going into the tech world, and we're going into chemistry and chemical compounds. And in chemistry, we're aware that certain compounds attract other compounds because they link up together to create a thing, which again kind of talks to that holobiont, but that at a very micro level. It's like H2O. It needs the hydrogen needs 2 oxygens, and we're much like that. You'll be drawn, like I'm drawn to you. I'm sure you and I make some really funky psychedelic chemical compound.
It's the other way around, isn't it? The oxygen needs two hydrogens, 1 oxygen, I think. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we make a compound, and on the within the myself is trying to formulate words for this, because I believe that this book, the Gene Key book, is literally a coding manual to recode our consciousness. And so within the awareness of this recoding tool, certain of these keys come together like a complex chemical compound, but instead of being super small, it's massive. It's like these massive groupings of these harmonic energies that I need to take time to create a conceptual pattern for. It would all, okay, for fun, let's just say like deity, right? Deity, the energy of a deity. And the cultures had made many deities and sort of like anthropomorphized them and externalized them into things, these massive energies that represent, like Lakshmi, is an essence of abundance that comes from within ourselves, that is like screen projected in a larger form, in a larger energy, that many human beings over an entire continent, say India, can all computer project the energy of Lakshmi together. But really it's coming from the human projector, which is much like the DNA strands that are batteries, as the energy of the cosmos goes through the DNA and lights it up, just like the negative Polaroid of a camera that's processing yeah. So these massive deity codon energies that come from smaller places within ourselves all intermingle. So it'd be like three gods getting together, three deities getting together, three massive archetypal energies getting together to represent something. And this represents the ring of Gaia. So it may represent the deity of Gaia. It may represent this overarching angle of Gaia, right? The arcing angle of Gaia that encompasses a lot of gosh, these words. Yeah. Let me just read one thing from the key, and maybe we can get an understanding of how it works together. So the 19 is the hair. It's the future human being. It is the seaweed in the ocean. It is this tiny little receptor that recepts and receives and oscillates and resounds. It's a resounding aspect on the tiniest little, that creates, that is like the blanket of moss, right? It's the grass, it's just the covering of everything, but it's on the outside and the inside. It's amazing. It's the carpeting of receptivity. The 61 is called the holiest of holies. It is the sanctuary. It is the essence of sanctuary. So this beautiful planet has blanketed itself with cellular receptivity on every single level, infinitely inward and infinitely outward of itself. And then the 61 speaks to the sanctuary. And I want to paint this beautiful picture of entering the most magical, whimsical, ancient, elemental forest, and entering into that space and feeling the whole, feeling the ancient memories in this cathedral, in this amphitheater of living light, of living life, of renewal, which is reknowing itself over and over and over again, as it is in continuous recycling, resounding, reknowing, reusing, reutilizing. This is the temple. This is sanctuary. And the gift of the 61st key is inspiration, right? The seed self, the shadow self is psychosis. And I am going to try not to cry here, because that psychosis is when we're locked in the mind and we're locked out of the heart, we're locked out of the sanctuary, we're locked out of the magic. And so I'm seeing this being that is in this psychosis, because again, the mind is not meant to hold the essence of the soul. The mind is like, shit, why can't I do this? I'm gonna break. I am going to break under this pressure. And it's just like relief. And so I'm watching this being that is broken, entering the sanctuary that is nature, entering the holy space. And it's like, enter me and be made new, which means know yourself again. Enter me and know yourself again. Enter nature, enter nurture. And the physiology of this key is the pineal gland. It is associated with the pineal gland, which is I'm hearing, which is the epic center of the crown, in its highest correspondence to the heart and the hearth renown. I'm seeing like the lotus growing. I'm seeing the lotus growing from the lowest. Ooh, I'm seeing the lotus growing from the lotus, from up from our feet, from the mud of the earth, as it's coming up, 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 and then crowning. And its stalk is from the heart. The heart is holding it. It's the lily pad right here. Like, you know, and the crown, it's like it comes up and it's just sitting up there, and it's not up there for us to go up there and stay there. We're still here. We're still here in the trunk, and this just is shining in all its glory and just opening up to the sun and just receiving. It's just become a receptacle, and it's like this harmonic balancer of the brain. And it just it takes up residence in there and just creates this glowing and soothes the mind. The mind is just soothed by this flowering, anchored into the heart and the roots into the depth of the experience, the sensing body that feels through the feet, through the soles of the feet.
I'm feeling the rose of the heart as you said that about the lotus at the crown. I'm feeling the rose opening out at the heart.
And that's the rose field. There's a rose field that buds and blooms. And now I'm being reminded that there's like, it's like, no, you're a garden. There's flowers growing. There's energetic flowers like flowing and budding out in so many places. It's beautiful. We look like a spring. We're many springs, and we are the fountain when we are in our full elation. It is just, you know, if one would just perceive our energy, it would be, when we're in harmony, it would just be like this dancing, coalescing fountain of singing and reverberating, oscillating. Oh, the 60th gift is the common sense of magic. And I'm going here because we're completing the Ring of Gaia, and the name of this key is the cracking of the vessel. We've got the future human being, the cracking of the vessel, the holiest of the holies.
The cracking of the vessel is like the seed as well, cracking to, you know, open up and become a seedling.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say so. Okay, and the physical association is the colon. Oh, how magical. Oh, how magical. Oh. So we move from the seed and the limitation of being sort of feeling stuck within that seed. And it's called closed circuit thinking. Closed circuit thinking, right? We're stuck here. We're in the closed circuit thinking in our and also in our individualness. Really sort of feeling cut off from this magical oasis that is the fractal reality. That's right, like out of our reach, right? We feel it, but we don't feel it. We sense it enough to want to be drawn to it, but we don't know how to help ourselves because we're thinking to get there. We're just, we're trying to enter head first. And it's like, no, you're not coming in the way you came here, like through your mother. This is another type of birth where we're crowning through the heart, right? It's like, don't go this way, go this way. Best out, tuck your butt in. No. Closed circuit thinking. And then the gift of realism, which is such a funny thing to say and to tap into, because we think we know what realism is. If we think realism, it's not it. It's not I think, therefore I am. It's I am, therefore I am, right? I am, therefore I think is more like it. That's the actual organization. So the gift of realism, the common sense of magic. This is what, so people with the 60th gift are very sought out in the world. And for one main reason, they understand the limitations of the world of form and therefore know the laws of manifesting within the world of form. This is what realism refers to in this context. It's the ability to balance youthfulness and wisdom, idealism and structure. Another synonym for this gift is common sense. And I feel this common sense is a common sensing. It's a sensational energy that is deeply sensing. And that co-monality in the monadic, because this earth is a monadic. When we enter earth, we are in a monadic structure. And so we are co-monality in the co-monality when we're in our right heartful center. And I'm also sensing combing, commingling, and comb, like a comb, but the comb is the hairs again. It brings us back to the hairs. As we are commingling, we're like brushing each other with our hair filaments. It's sensational.
And I'm getting honeycomb from that as well, and that takes me back to the water that we mentioned before. Just before you mentioned H2O, I'd written down the fourth phase of water, and a lot of the structure of water, like the ice, is the hexagonal shape, the honeycomb.
That is also in our blood. Our blood makes that same honeycomb lattice structure that can be looked into. I was on that in that sort of tangent of is it hexagonal? The hexagonal structures within our blood. There's some sort of a plasmic lattice work there, and of course, because it's the most energetically efficient structure. Yeah, harmonically efficient. I just got drawn over here. The 60th gene key is part of a trinity of gene keys. The ring of Gaia is one of the most fascinating of all the 21 rings, the ring of Gaia prevents or allows awareness to move between all the different forms of life on our planet. That's incredible. That is a true spokesperson. And when I say spoke, I mean a spoke on a wheel, and you can be the spoke to pierce. And I mean that in a loving way and also like peering, to peer within wheels, within wheels, within wheels, within wheels. And I'm hearing, I can up here, I can up here, I can up here, and I can up peer as I'm peering with the eyes of the heart.
Beautiful. Wow.
Oh, and one more thing I want to say, which is never true because I always want to say more, but a thing I want to point out is the highest, the Siddhic frequency of this key is justice. It's justice. And it's like in that full trinity of knowing of all we've spoken today. It says all shall be made right, all shall be made known, all shall be brought into right harmony. That's the justice, is the harmonic ordering, the harmonic structure. And hara line, hara monadic, harmony, hara, and in the center monadic, mon. And moan, like this, the moan of the mother, like this harmony. And it's talking about the earth ship Merkaba in the 60th city. And this is a funny little thing that came through me a long time ago before many different awakening sleep cycles that I experienced. It's like up, down, up, down, up, down. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. I was shown that, the message came in, how do you steer an earth ship? How do you steer an earth ship? And it was saying, just as the little bacteria in your stomach will steer you to the cupboard to get a sugary treat, right? It's like these little bacterias are like, this is what I want, and I can make you get it. And you're, like if you're driving from up here, like we will drive you, go and get some wheat, go and get there's the yeast overgrowth or whatever is literally pushing something. Like think of the size of the bacteria and the size of us. So then think of all of us and the size of Earth. We are very much like this. So what are we telling our mother to crave? Or what are we telling our great being to crave? Are we going for sugar? Are we going for that which is not healthy? Because if so, we're driving the earth experience. I'm not necessarily suggesting that we're driving her through space, but I am suggesting that we're driving through realms, right? And so if we're driving the earth ship into deeper and deeper realms of where we don't really want to go, I'm seeing like we're creating a fog. We're creating a fog. It's like we are putting Earth to sleep in a way. We're making Earth sleepy and not really knowing. But like as we wake up, because we are her cellular receptions, she remembers her own magicality. Because we're one. We're part of it all. We're the little hairs. We are one hair. One hair of many. I hear, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. we beginning to feel complete?
Yeah, I feel I think, nope, I feel to just speak a reminder and like a culmination of all of the journey that we've just taken. And it's like, remember to enter nature to enter yourself. Remember that you are nature. So to enter nature, enter yourself deeply. Go deeply in. If you need assistance, enter nature to enter yourself. You know, you can take that journey outside to walk inside. So remember the sanctuary that is nature. Walk with reverence and feel. Our human science is honoring and learning and respecting the power of nature. Nature heals our vessel because we are nature. It's been shown to help with dementia. People with dementia, they've been putting them through gardening practices and taking them in nature, and it's been healing that condition or helping that condition, preventing it from progression, slowing down the progression. Children with ADD, so-called ADD, it's attention deficit disorder. I think it's nature deficit disorder. It's a deficit from the natural order, in the natural world. The natural world order, not the new world order, it's the natural world order. Thank you. And it heals us because it is us and we need it. And it's become this mystery to ask why we're so sick. It's not a mystery. It's a mystery, perhaps, how many of us have gone along so long without it. Yeah, just many of these things that we call the human conditions are what was it called? We're devoid of nature. It's a natural deficiency. Our deficiencies are a natural deficiency. And so as we're just gardening, we're healing the microbiome of our home, of the home and the people that we live in. As we are gardening, we are gardening ourselves, and we're getting in touch with the real pace and space of the real world, the real world. And we are falling into here in love as with nature, with ourselves, finding ourselves again. So it isn't that I know that I need to go into nature because I know that it is healthy for me. I must go into nature for that I know it is my greatest harmony, for that I know that it is me. So I must know thyself. And in knowing thyself, I must know the nature. That is who I came to be. That is who I came here to be. That is how I came here to be.
And why? Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so I invite us back to feel into our hearts again. Feel that connectedness between all of our hearts. All of us here gathering together in this call, in this now moment, in a future now moment if it's on the replay. Feeling that connection with the heart of Gaia and the sun and source creator. And that connection with all hearts on the planet. The hearts of the trees, the heart of water. The hearts of every living being. And those beings that have gone before. And that are still yet to come. And just feel into your heart now. How does it feel? If you felt into your heart at the beginning of this, is there a difference? Is there an expansion? Can you feel the coherence? And just handing back to you, Kandice, if there's anything you wish to add.
I'm just going to share a little song. You are home.
Oh, beautiful, thank you. And I invite us all, if we can today, if not today, tomorrow, to go outside, break free from the walls, be in the air, on the ground. Connect with this song of the earth. Thank you, Kandice, so much. Always a pleasure. And thank you to everybody who's been with us. Feeling it all. Thank you. Love.